The incredibly frustrating, mostly untalented, but very, very rarely comes through in the clutch, Tim Maxwell over at the King's Herald has a excellent article. Baby Giraffe. Really, honestly, probably the most polarizing Kings media member in the
Yeah,
entire
how come he's
city.
not in the
I don't know. People really don't like him. But he did write a free agency primer that is excellent. Breaks down the following. Total guaranteed salaries as of this moment for the Kings are around $103 million. I won't bore you with mathematics, but that's well shy of the $122 million cap set earlier this year. There are non-guaranteed salaries. Trey Lyles, Chimezie Metu. But you got to think, I have a hard time believing Mike Brown's going to let Chimezie Metu go, especially with their relationship they have pre-existing. That pushes the Kings to around $108 million, and there are significant cap holds on the book. Unsigned first-round picks account for 120% of their standard rookie scale salary. Keegan Murray at $8 million. That pushes the Kings to $116. Now you have pending free agents. Dante DiVincenzo, Damian Jones, Neemias Queta. All interesting candidates to re-sign. Dante DiVincenzo, if they want to re-sign him, have to keep his cap hold on the books, which is $14 million. Wow. That's very legit, as opposed to 1.8 for Damian Jones and 1.6 for Queta.
Sure.
If they wanted to clear everything, Metu, Lyles, renounce every free agent, stretch Harkless, you're still going to have $3 million cap holds. That puts you at $111 million. That's not a lot of money. The bottom line is this. For them, unless they make some very, very, very interesting moves, they don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, they're not going to be this primetime free agency player. They could get some fringe players that could still help. That's just where you got to be smart and see if you can lure somebody.
Well, let's look at what their potential starting lineup is. With Fox at the 1, you're going to have Barnes, it would assume, at the 3.
Correct.
Murray,
I would think.
We can pencil him in, even though he's a rookie, at the 4. Sabonis at the 5. That seems to be 4/5 of your starting lineup. Jason, are any of those players a go-to guy on a playoff team?
On a playoff team, well, Sabonis has been.
Yeah, okay. Was he? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, he was an all-star on a playoff team.
Yes. No, I'd agree with that. That leaves you with the 2. Okay, now that gets interesting because is that where you put a presumably healthy Dante DiVincenzo, and now you have yourself a little bit of defensive help to go with?
Yeah.
He and Keegan Murray become the 2 best defensive starters on the team.
Well, and you have to remember, too, in Milwaukee's championship year, Dante DiVincenzo, for the bulk of the year, was the starting 2 guard.
Right.
On the championship team. Now, he got hurt in the playoffs, but he was their starter.
Going to the Sacramento Kings. Is this a misprint here? Hold on. I'm going to the Sacramento. You go to the Sacramento Kings depth chart on ESPN.com. DeMontis Sabonis with Damian Jones, Alex Len, Trey Lyles, and Chimezie Metu, all at your depth chart for center. That is the complete ESPN.com depth chart for the Kings.
Oh, they've no other positions.
No other positions.
Playing all centers. Okay.
They have a grand total of 5 players. Terrence Davis.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Jones, I'd like to see. I saw some things out of Damian Jones that I thought were pretty cool. We're missing. We're not speaking of Rashawn Holmes,
right? Which to me seems like one of the likely trade candidates.
I would think so.
That would be coveted, and I think you could get a nice return for.
I mean, do you even? Wouldn't you rather trade Rashawn for whatever you can get and re-sign Damian Jones as Sabonis' backup, or is there a thought that you know what? Why not have Holmes as Sabonis' backup?
Well, if you the funny part about the career arc of Rashawn Holmes is he was kind of that ideal backup. He came here, was the last signing on the Dwayne Dedmon summer. And it was like, well, Dedmon's going to be the starter. And then it didn't take very long to realize Holmes should be in there, and Holmes started playing more. Then he got the starting job. And then he basically earned his next contract based on a couple of really good years here. So I think it's got to be hard for Rashawn going from kind of that backup to a pretty significant starter here on this team to now, the guy that's ahead of him, he's better. Sabonis is just a better all-around player, and Rashawn is still good. I think he would like to, though, be a starter, and I that's not here. It's just not here.
I wonder. The problem, I agree, by the way, that Rashawn Holmes is very tradable. He's absolutely, just because of the Sabonis trade. We love Rashawn. I'm also aware that you'd be trading Rashawn Holmes at like his absolute lowest value. Really low value. And he had last year, it wasn't just, I'm Rashawn Holmes and I'm just having a tough year. No, like he had a rough year on and off the court. Like he had horrible things going on with his ex, with his child, all of that. He got poked in the eye, I think, 74 times last year. Was wearing goggles. Like he had a really rough year personally and professionally. There is part of me that's like, First off, he's a great, knock on wood, he's a great piece of injury insurance should something happen to Domas.
Yeah.
But also, like, why not? Can you still fit? I don't think Sabonis and Holmes can be on the floor at the same time. But if Sabonis is playing, 35 minutes a game, well, that's, okay, that's 7 minutes for, 35, 13. That's 13 minutes. I don't know what you can do with that. But it's a pretty nice guy to go to.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate that they'd be selling really low, but I think, honestly, if you can find somebody that's willing to give you something you can use and you can re-sign Damian Jones, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable putting DiVincenzo? Would you feel comfortable rolling out that starting lineup with DiVincenzo at the 2 and let's go?
It might be out of necessity, whether it's him or Davion. It just feels like a little bit smaller of a backcourt. I think either way. It does feel a little bit empty there. It feels like there needs to be something else there.
Yeah.
Just even across the board, a 2-3 hybrid, more wing depth, more wing versatility, more guys that are out on the wing that you just go look long, athletic. I think that's what this team is in need of. You good with DiVincenzo as you're starting to? I mean, it was for the Bucks. That's why I keep pointing out. I don't think he's the same player. He wasn't last year coming off injury, but I think he can get back there.
I agree. I just, again, and I don't want to be downer guy that I always am, but I guess what I'm struggling with too is, weird things happen every year. I get it. You got a new coach too. Let's not discount that. But I look at that starting lineup and I go, you know what? I think this team is going to be a little bit better than they were last year. Remember, Fox had a horrible start. It was very apparent that he and Tyrese Halliburton weren't comfortable playing together. Fox's numbers took off after that. They took off after that, but it's not like the Kings had this great record.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like they had this great second half record, even with Fox going off. I look at the other teams like that we've talked about, the Clippers a lot today, plus we've talked about the Pelicans. And I just don't know. This isn't enough. And I'm not talking about this isn't enough to, be a championship team. But it just seems like next year, as it stands right now, is shaping up to be a team that you're going to roll out. They'll be better. They'll lose more than they win, but it'll be better. And you go to the games and you pay the team, and that's it. There has to be another major move on this team.
Yeah, I think without that, I think the roadmap for the Kings to me is, okay, how much better can Mike Brown make the defense, which obviously has to be a major increase. And without a roster transfer overhaul, makes you wonder how, but he's done a good job with the Warriors and some players that you probably question defensively. And then I think really the honest truth is the whole thing is contingent on Fox and Sabonis. Yeah. Those are your two best players. If they play a bulk of the games and have big seasons, they will be better. But what's that tangible number? Is that enough to do what, let's say, Edwards and Towns did for Minnesota, along with others, to get them to well above 500 and be in the playoffs? Seems like a stretch, but at one point it probably seemed like a stretch for Minnesota too.
Sacramento Kings were 20-36 going into that Minnesota game when Domantas Sabonis made his debut and De'Aaron Fox absolutely took off. They were 10-16 with Fox and Sabonis. They finished the year 30-52.
And the 10-16, I think it's also only 9 games together, if I remember right. I mean, they or 14, something like that.
Yeah, it's. But maybe Keegan Murray comes in and he's rookie of the year.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. I mean, there are definitely rooms for improvement. All right.